Hi everyone. Today I want to walk you through the topics of birth, infancy, and toddlerhood. We're going to start out with a brief introduction and kind of an overview of those subjects, move on specifically to birth and early infancy, then on to toddlerhood, and then conclude our presentation. The first few years after birth, spanning infancy and toddlerhood, these early years are filled with rapid physical, emotional, and cognitive changes, laying the foundation for a person's entire future. Whether you're a parent, a future educator, or just someone who's interested in child psychology, understanding these stages can help us all provide better care and support for children during these incredibly formative years. Think about it. Within just a few years, a baby goes from being completely dependent on others to walking, talking, and expressing their own opinions. It is mind blowing how much happens in such a short time. So let's explore what's going on during birth, infancy, and toddlerhood. To start, let's look at a brief overview of these early developmental stages. First, we have birth, which marks the beginning of life outside of the womb. And then we move on to infancy. This covers the first year of life, and then finally toddlerhood, which stretches from the ages of around 1 to 3 years old. During infancy, babies experience rapid growth and they learn to coordinate their movements, make sense of their environment, and form relationship with their caregivers. By toddlerhood, we see an explosion of independence. Toddlers begin to walk and explore and test boundaries while they're still learning to regulate their emotions and interact with others. Toddlers have already developed a sense of self-awareness and are starting to make choices about their behavior and their environment. And here's a fun fact. Did you know that the average newborn's brain is about 25% the size of an adult brain, but by age 3, it's already grown to 80%? These early years are so important because the brain is growing and changing at a rapid pace, and everything a child experiences influences how those neural connections form. So why are these stages critical? These early years of life are crucial for children's psychological development, and this is largely due to the brain's incredible plasticity during this time. Plasticity refers to the brain's ability to change and adapt based on experience, and it's at its highest during infancy and toddlerhood. During this time, a child's brain is constantly forming new neural connections in response to the stimuli around them, whether it's the sound of a caregiver's voice, the sight of new objects, or the emotional comfort of a warm embrace. Every interaction a child has, especially with caregivers, helps shape their brain structure and function. This includes the development of emotional regulation, cognitive abilities, and even how they will handle social interactions later in life. For example, if a child consistently receives nurturing and responsive care, they are more likely to develop a secure attachment, which has a profound impact on how they form relationships in the future. According to research by Kretschmer, Beard, and Carlson, a child's early attachment to their caregivers lays the groundwork for how they approach relationships throughout their entire lifetime. When we think about this, it becomes clear that the experiences a child has during infancy and toddlerhood, whether positive or negative, are literally shaping the brain's wiring. This is why a stable, loving environment in these early years is so important as it fosters healthy, emotional, and cognitive development, setting children up for success as they are growing older. And with that, I want to move on to early infancy brain development. During early infancy, brain development is at its most dynamic and crucial. Every second, the brain is forming millions of new neural connections, especially during the first 2 years of life. This rapid growth allows infants to quickly absorb and learn from their environment. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and reorganize based on experiences, is at its peak during this time. What this means is that the experiences an infant has, from hearing language to seeing faces or to feeling comforted, all directly shape how their brain is developing. In fact, studies show that a lack of stimulation in these early stages can have lasting effects on cognitive development. Without enough interaction or enriching activities, an infant's brain may not develop the connections it needs for things like problem solving, language acquisition, or emotional regulation. On the other hand, an environment filled with positive stimulation, talking to, playing with, and providing sensory experiences for the baby can enhance intellectual growth, helping to build a strong foundation for future learning. For example, babies who are frequently spoken to, read to, or exposed to different sounds and textures tend to develop stronger language and cognitive skills later in life. This is why environments that are rich in stimuli, from sounds to physical interactions, are so crucial in infancy. Early experience have an outsized impact on the brain, shaping not just immediate behaviors, but lifelong abilities to learn and to adapt. And this brings us to attachment and physical development. According to Bowlby's attachment theory, the early interactions between a baby and their caregiver are essential for shaping the emotional security of the infant. Caregivers who are consistently sensitive and responsive help babies develop a sense of trust and safety, which becomes the foundation for emotional regulation and future social relationships. For example, a caregiver who promptly responds to a baby's cries not only soothes the infant, but also teaches them that the world is predictable and supportive. This sense of security influences how they manage emotions and build healthy relationships throughout life. Additionally, infants display instinctive behaviors known as reflexes, like the rooting reflex, which helps them find food, and the grasping reflex, where babies automatically grip anything placed in their path. These reflexes are not only vital for survival, but also help babies connect with their caregivers and explore their environment. Over time, these reflexes evolve into more purposeful movements, laying the groundwork for future physical and motor development as babies grow. And with that, we're moving into toddlerhood. Toddlerhood, cognitive development, and Piaget's sensory motor stage. Between 18 and 24 months, toddlers enter the later part of Piaget's sensory motor stage and start exploring their world more actively. A key cognitive development at this stage is object permanence, and this is the realization that objects will continue to exist even when they are out of sight. This discovery allows toddlers to engage in more complex play, like peekaboo or hide and seek, and it allows them to begin problem solving as they understand that hidden objects aren't gone. These new skills mark a significant leap in cognitive development, helping toddlers explore and interact with their environment in deeper ways. And this brings us to language development. Language acquisition is a vital part of toddlerhood. Around 12 months, toddlers start to babble and say their first words. By age 2, many can form simple sentences, indicating significant progress in their language development. Research emphasizes that the quantity and quality of language exposure during this period greatly impact future literacy skills, and toddlers who experience rich language environments through talking, reading, and even interactive play tend to develop larger vocabularies and better communication skills. Caregiver interaction is essential for fostering vocabulary growth, and understanding how language functions lay a solid foundation for effective communication in later years. By engaging in meaningful conversations and reading aloud, caregivers can significantly support their toddler's language development, making these early years crucial for nurturing strong language skills. And this brings us to social and emotional development. Toddlers begin to develop an understanding of their own emotions as well as those of others during this stage. According to Erikson's psychosocial theory, they are in the stage of autonomy versus shame and doubt. This means that toddlers are striving for independence, wanting to do things for themselves, such as dressing or feeding, but they often encounter a deal of frustration when they can't achieve certain tasks on their own. This struggle can lead to feelings of shame or doubt about their abilities. Socially, toddlers start interacting with their peers, which is an exciting yet challenging time. These interactions can sometimes lead to difficulties such as separation anxiety when a parent leaves, or conflicts over toys as they learn to navigate sharing and cooperation. During this period, emotional regulation and social skills begin to develop. This lays the groundwork for how they will interact with others throughout their entire lives. Research indicates that positive social interactions during this stage help build resilience and emotional understanding, which is crucial for future relationships and social settings. By fostering a supportive environment, caregivers can help toddlers manage their emotions and develop essential social skills as they navigate these early challenges. In conclusion, the stages of birth, infancy, and toddlerhood are pivotal for a child's lifelong development. The rapid growth in brain structure, the formation of secure attachments, and the development of language and motor skills set the foundation for cognitive and emotional well-being. Understanding these stages helps parents, educators, and psychologists create environments that support healthy and holistic development. Thank you all so much for listening to my presentation, and here are my sources if you would like to learn more for yourself.